Hello, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we're going to check out the Slap and Kick Man. Now, I worked in the bar industry. I worked as a barman, I worked as a bar manager, I worked on the floor, I worked on the door with the door staff, and I've done that for many, many years. And this came across my feed, and I was very interested because there's a lot of people saying what happened. The guy should have done what he did. He was in the wrong. Was he allowed to do this? What are the laws and rules around it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vanish and I'm going to play you the video at normal speed, and then I'll go over the whole thing and explain what my take is on that for you. So I'm going to vanish and we will press play.
Hey, well, hello, mate. I gotta keep filming. There's some people. Are they coming up on us? Oh yeah, there's one trying to flank us on the far right. All right. Chill. Yeah, dude, let's go. Let's get out of here. Thank you, Fred, for saving me there. He came for you with a knife in his pocket. What the hell? Let's go. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Yeah, TK Maxx.
So, as you just heard there, right at the end, he said he came for you with a knife in his pocket. Now, these gentlemen had run into him already. There is another video where there was a confrontation already with this young man, and what had happened is they had a bit of a falling out. And this young man had been seen with a flick knife. So it's a knife that's a handle and the blade flicks out. So I'm going to play this back in slow motion and I'm going to just walk through what the scenario is and why I agree with what happened on this particular one. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to vanish so you can see everything again. And I'll mute this as we talk through. So you can see everybody here. Everyone is just walking completely normally. There's no issue. No one's in a rush. No one has a face covered or anything like that whatsoever. And then you see him there. That's when you first notice him. And the thing is, when you first notice him here, he is not walking in the same manner as anybody else. Immediately, he's walking faster. He's walking with an aggressive stance, which would immediately make me notice him. And you can't see his face, which would also, for me, be a concern. Now, let's see what happens. Well, we know what happens, but let's play a bit more. So he's almost power walking directly towards these guys, which for me is an immediate no-no. And I would, at this point here, I would be getting ready to defend myself because we know for a fact he has a knife. His hand is in his pocket here, and if I didn't know better, I'd say that his hand is on his knife, ready for it to be taken out and to be used straight away. So the bodyguard, has very little time to do anything and needs to act in the best way that he can. So he keeps on walking, You can tell his style, his walking is a very aggressive movement. He's walking with intent. Still with his hand in his pocket, which would concern me. Okay, so at this point, this guy says, "Look, wait, stop. I'm going to vanish because there's an important piece here." He says, "Stop." His hand is now going directly into his pocket. Now, I would have been assuming this hand is already in this pocket on the knife. But knowing he has a knife, he may have one in each pocket. So you can't take the risk. You can't take the risk that it's just one knife that he has. He may have another type of blade on him. And he could be going for it right now in that pocket. And you can see he is looking straight at his hand. He's not looking around. He's not looking at anybody else. He's not even looking at his eyes. He's looking at his hand in anticipation to see what's happening. His hands come out. Now, I didn't see a knife in there, but you might not realize it may have been a diversion. This hand might come out to slash him round the face. So this is where he decides to take action. So he slaps him, and you can see that it was an open-handed slap. So it wasn't a balled-up fist. So it wasn't the intent on this was not to injure or hurt, really, but just to take this guy by surprise. So a slap is going to do very little, if anything, to that young man. It may be a case he'll get a very red cheek for half an hour to an hour. That's about it. But the slap is to take him off guard, take him by surprise, and then, just to be sure, he then kicks him. And you saw he kicked him directly in the diaphragm. He didn't kick him in the head, which would have been very aggressive and could be dangerous. He didn't kick him in the legs to make him lose his balance altogether and land on the floor in a very dangerous way, because if your legs have gone out, your head is going to slam into the floor. He hasn't done that. He's kicked him in the stomach just enough to put the guy off balance. And he only just went off balance, and he was able to land with his hand down first. I'll show you that again. So he kicks him here, and you can see his hand is already going down to stop himself falling. He's landed on the floor, more on his ass and his hand, so it's quite a gentle touchdown, so to speak. And then he just saw it rolls over because he has been winded. That kick will more likely not leave any mark on him whatsoever. Kicking someone in the stomach or the diaphragm is not going to do a great deal at the strength that he used. So the only thing will happen is his face will be stinging right now, and he'll be completely out of breath. And he'll get his breath back within 30 seconds to a minute or two, and he'll be back to normal, as if it never happened, although he may have a bit of a red face. So what this bodyguard did was absolutely fine. He did nothing wrong whatsoever. Now, bear in mind, we believe that this person here has a concealed weapon on him, which is illegal. And rather than take the chance of being attacked with the weapon, which would drastically make the situation a lot harder to control if you have nothing on you apart from your arms, what he did was absolutely fine. In law, what it states in this kind of scenario is you are allowed to defend yourself, and you are allowed to defend yourself first. If the situation is like this, where you are at risk, you are allowed to preemptively act to defend yourself, as long as it is reasonable force. And now that is very important, reasonable force. If the bodyguard had punched him as hard as he could in the face and then just went in and just beat the living daylights out of the guy, that's not reasonable force at all. That is exceptionally aggressive force, and that wouldn't be allowed. But what this was, a slap, just a kick that was just enough to put the guy on his ass. That is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The only other thing that the bodyguard could have done is, if there was a police officer around here or around here at the time, 20, 30 feet away, he could have gone on, put the guy on his front, got his arms, put them behind his back, kneeled on his arms to keep them in place and restrain him on the ground, call the police officer over, explain to the officer what happened. The officer will then take it from there and most probably arrest the young man after checking his pockets for weapons. But this was absolutely fine. And if you have any questions or queries, like I said, feel free to ask. But again, just remember, as long as it's reasonable force, you are allowed to defend yourself and proactively defend yourself depending on the situation. I hope you liked the video. See you all next time.